Tsubasa Chronicle is another great classic on this list that's even considered a legendary anime according to some standards. The anime is renowned for its great storytelling, and, even more so, epic characters that we just can't seem to get enough of. It follows the story of a young boy, Syoran, who is the adopted son of an archaeologist. One day, during an excavation in the ancient ruins of the Cloud Kingdom, Syoran witnesses his childhood friend, Sakura the Princess of Cloud Kingdom, suddenly appear on the site with wings that disperse all around her. Syoran later learns that those wings were actually Sakura's memories, and since they were connected to Sakura's heart, if they don't recover these memories quickly, her life could be in grave danger. Vowed to save his childhood friend, Syoran sets out on a journey with Sakura and some other companions to recover the scattered feathers and save Sakura from her impending death. 9. Shinka no Mi Shiranai Uchi ni Kachigumi Jinsei. The first thing I did when entering this show is remove any expectations or hope I ever had for it. I wanted to go into it on a clean slate, as if I've never seen an isekai before in my life. The main character is your typical loser that's bullied and treated like shit only because he's fat. Seriously, that's literally it. Even the game system that transfers the students bullies him for being fat by categorizing him as barely human. Anyway, he gets transported into a totally different area than his classmates, and he's left to his own devices, kind of like Arifutura. If you wish though, Arifutura is more on the serious dark side, while this one is more like Konosuba, with its ridiculousness and humor. I mean, the main girl is a freaking gorilla for crying out loud, but damn is she hot. This series sadly was overlooked by many since they expected much of it, and it didn't live up to their expectations. However, as a comedic, light-hearted isekai romance, the show isn't half bad. 8. Isekai wa smartphone tomo ni. Just how desperate this guy was to keep his phone with him? Seriously, a god offers to give him anything he wants in the new world he's going to be transported to. And what does he pick? He picks to keep his phone with him when he goes there. How is it being charged, though? No freaking idea. As he reached that new world, he began to sightsee and take selfies of the landscapes. However, he isn't a normal human. He also has a lot of powerful spells and magical skills to use and destroy his enemies. This is also a harem as well, so expect to see a lot of sexy girls fighting each other for the supremacy over the MC's heart. 7. Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. Seiya is a powerful and strong hero in his own right. However, he's very cautious and decides not to activate his powers very often, since the consequences can be catastrophic. He's accompanied by a beautiful girl on his journey that keeps trying to approach him no matter how many times he punches her back to her senses. The relation between them is hilarious, and the series overall is pretty chill and fun to watch and enjoy. 6. Death March Kara Hajimaru Isekai Kyushu Kyoku. This guy reminds me of myself and my dreams when I binge a video game for a while. I start to dream I am in the actual game. Coincidentally, that's exactly what happened to Setao, the MC of this series, in real life. He's nothing but a humble debugger, with a lot of work piling up on him. He closes his eyes for 2 seconds, and the next thing he knows, he's in a world made up of the compilation of games he's been debugging. With no time to take things in, he's assaulted by an army of lizardmen. In his confusion, he retaliated with a very powerful spell. I almost felt bad for the lizardmen as he wiped them all out. In return, his level skyrocketed to 310, with hundreds, if not thousands of new skills unlocked at his disposal. So, now he's broken, with thousands of skills and spells, overpowered and overleveled. The only thing left for him to do now is to explore the world he was sent to, since there doesn't seem to be any means to return to his world in the time being. The show has a decent enough premise and idea to have you hooked to it, as well as the on-point execution and the events that transpire later in the series make it all the worthwhile. 5. Isekai Cheat Magician. Hello and welcome to How to Make a Generic Isekai Anime 101. First, you prepare the ingredients. You need cliches, generic character and love interest, a blinding light that sends you to a new foreign world, and the most important and most crucial ingredient is powers inexplicably gained. For the spices and add-ons, you can borrow other isekai concepts and change them a bit. It's not like anyone will notice that or anything. That is exactly what this anime is. Sure, the character is broken and powerful as hell. It feels like cheating, but he's as generic and bland as they come. As well, like every generic isekai, ever get overpowered, beat the demon, get the girl, live happily ever after. Well played! 4. Slime Karshike, 300 nen. Shiranai uchi ni level max, ni natemashita. Damn, and I thought I was a grinder. This girl spent 300 years of her immortal life farming slimes daily until she maxed out her level, reaching 99. That's one hell of a feat if you ask me. In games, slimes are usually so weak and give measly experience, players wouldn't bat an eye even to bother and fight them. Apparently, we might have been doing things the wrong way. Sure, it took her 300 years to max out, but she still did it with zero risks. With the news of her immense strength and power leaking into the world, a lot of adversity will be waiting for her friend and foe alike will seek her, whether for aid or for battle. 3. Kuma Bear. As a gamer myself, I can actually relate to this series when it comes to putting on some embarrassing armor just for the stats. Even if it makes me look like Hello Kitty, the stats are worth the hassle. And that's exactly what happened with this Vermo player. After a complete year of playing the game, the admins gifted a bear armor that looked embarrassing to wear that had insanely high stats. It was broken as hell. The moment she put it on, she was transported to a new world that she couldn't recognize. Being the veteran she is at games, however, she thinks nothing of it and decides to go on adventures exploring this new world she's in. 2. Oda Nobuna no Yabao. In this show, all the feudal lords of old are transformed into hot, sexy women. But the biggest change was that they made Oda Nobunaga, the demon himself, a woman and a blonde one at that. The MC that got transported there already has knowledge of all that transpires in that era, but refrains from saying so or divulging anything to anyone around him in order to preserve the timeline and keep it intact, not wanting to fragment it more than had already happened with all the feudal lords becoming women. All he can do is watch as the events unfold and hope that the timeline isn't torn to shreds. 1. Mondaiji Tachi ga Isekai Karaku so desu yo. Here we go with one of those long Japanese titles. Only that this time the English title is even longer. Problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? Yeah, that's a whole sentence. And a question. This fantasy anime is quite short with just 10 episodes, and it's got a bit of action and comedy. The story revolves around 3 teenagers with psychic powers who are transported to a new world after receiving an envelope. In this new world known as Little Garden, a deadly game is going on, and they decide to help a man known as Kurosagi reclaim his land from the Demon Lord. And with this, we conclude our video.